This is 415B and our definition of story. All right, forgive me for my awkwardness on camera. I'm not used to making videos to teach people, so this is the best I got. There are many different definitions of story, but the one we're going to use in this class and the one developed at the Cinematic Arts Writing Division is particularly useful for screenwriters. I myself have found it especially helpful in the bewildering and chaotic rewrite process. It has 4 parts, and it goes like this. A story is about someone who wants something very badly but is having trouble getting it. Let's look at each of the 4 parts of this definition to get a sense of why this very simple way to look at story can be so powerful. Okay, the story's about someone, but whose story is it? Through whose eyes, and more importantly, through whose emotions do we experience the story? Who takes actions that drive the story forward? Who changes as a result? And how does that character's viewpoint allow the story to be told in a unique way? Sometimes you write a first draft thinking it's a story about one particular character, but you discover along the way that a different character is actually the one taking action and making decisions and changing as a result. The feedback on your script might reveal that a different character from the one you thought is the one the audience actually cares about and identifies with. So this someone in the definition is linked to all sorts of other definitions that we'll explore later in the class, like point of view, empathy, decision point, need, character arc, and a bunch more. The question, whose story is it, actually gets pretty complex and hard to answer when there are multiple protagonists, multiple storylines, and multiple points of view. By the way, if you hear rustling in the background, that's my dog circling the desk, just so you know. Okay, so this story is not just about someone. What is this person doing? Why are we watching this someone? The story is about someone who wants something. In this case, a glass of water. Perhaps they are thirsty. Oops, do you notice the break in lighting continuity? It's the next day. It may seem simple, but what do they want is a question that dogs writers throughout multiple rewrites. We ask it about the protagonist, but we also ask it about the antagonist, about the love interest, about the best friend. We ask it about the story, but about acts and sequences and subplots and individual scenes. Knowing what our character's objective is, that concrete something that they're working towards, and making that clear to the audience is essential for telling a good story. So again, this definition and this question, what do they want, is linked to other definitions we'll explore later in the class, like plot, passive versus active main character, action, and the dramatic question. However, a character wanting something is not enough. In our example, a character wants a glass of water, but why do we care? Why do we care if our character is thirsty or if they want to douse the back of their neck with some cool water? That's not a story yet. It's important that a character wants something, but they have to want it very badly. In this case, we've lit a fire under them, so they want water to douse the flames. So in this part of the definition, we're asking, why does he, she, or they want it so much? What's going to happen if they don't get what they want? And this defines the stakes of your story. Often in first drafts, if the protagonist doesn't get what they want, it's not clear that it would be all that bad. So the story starts to lack tension. Failure for our hero should be an emotionally devastating outcome. It should be, in the hero's mind, either figuratively or literally a matter of life and death. So the question of why do they want it so badly is linked to other terms that we'll learn later in the course, like stakes, urgency, engagement, and many others. Wait, did I mix up the order of those? As you're probably starting to see, all the terms of this course are sort of embedded in this definition. Of course, wanting something very badly still isn't enough to have a complete definition of story. Our hero here can just run and get the water and douse the flames. It's too easy. A story is ultimately about someone who wants something very badly but is having trouble getting it. Here I've inserted a fire-breathing dragon in between the protagonist and the water. This part of the definition asks the question, what are the obstacles? who is the antagonist, or what are the antagonistic forces that are keeping the protagonist from getting what he or they want. Sometimes in first drafts, things are just too easy for the protagonist. Lucky coincidences help them along, antagonists don't put up much of a fight, problems are solved without too much trouble. But you need that trouble. The trouble is linked to all sorts of important terms we'll learn in this course, like antagonist, obstacle, and conflict. Keep watching, we're almost done. The most important term that this definition is linked to is the most important term in the course, and that's tension. But that's the subject of our next video. So in the meantime, just memorize this definition of story. A story is about someone who wants something very badly but is having trouble getting it. As an addendum, some of these videos that you will see are made of footage that I shot last semester for another class. So when I make reference to the films we will watch during the semester, I mean, of course, the scripts and outlines that we will write and discuss during the semester. So use the story definition as you evaluate your peers' work. Is it clear who the story is about and what they want? And by the way, the protagonist's want is especially important in character-driven pieces in which the want is internal and expressed in different ways at different times. But also, is it clear how badly they want it and what's going to happen if they don't get it? These are the big questions that we want to attack at the beginning of the semester before we get entangled in the details.